All right. Streaming on YouTube. Should be streaming on YouTube as well. Can you let me know if we're streaming on YouTube? And how's the audio? If people.
We are.
All right. Great. How's the audio, people on the YouTube and Facebook? Also, Facebook people, let me actually bring up the comment section. I see some people are watching. While we wait for people to tell us how the audio is and if everything is good, I'm going to quickly. So, this is Armin Navobi. I'm with Jim. Jim, say hi.
Hi, everybody.
So today we're going to be covering the news, all the news on atheism, religion, and everything else that the Atheist Republic community has recommended to us to cover. If you guys want some news to be covered next week, make sure once the live stream is over, you come to the YouTube channel and let in the comment section know. Let us know what news you want us to cover next week. We take your recommendations very seriously. By the way, shout out to Anna for going through people's recommendations and picking them. Thank you so much, Anna, for preparing all the summary and everything you do. And also, I want to give a shout out to our web developer, Sachin. He's been doing a very good job, and he's very passionate about his work with Atheist Republic. So thank you so much for that, Sachin. And he uploads all the news every week to our website, atheistrepublic.com. Really quickly, before we cover the news, I'm going to thank some of our patrons. So I think I already did Andrea Pankak. Just some new patrons this week. Tamara Duel, Alexandre Panzin, Jonathan Ziu. Sorry if I'm pronouncing these wrong. Dalton Ventura. And thank you so much for our patrons because they really help us. We're getting close to 100 patrons. And right now, Atheist Republic costs is more than the donations that we're bringing in. Once we hit 100 patrons, that's gonna we will be able to pay for all our costs. So thank you so much for everybody that is has been donating. Renzo, thanks, is in the live chat. Uday is in the YouTube live chat. Good audio, great. I switched my microphone back to what it was. The guy with the long, I'm gonna call you Israq. Hi, and okay, great. Christina and Unlucky Eddie on Facebook. Everybody, I see people on Facebook. Brian, Anita, MJ, Gracia, Reds, people in live chat. Anyways, prayer, Rolly, you guys are awesome. Anyways, let's start with the news. What's the first news?
The first news, Zayn Malik just said he's left Islam and his Muslim fans are canceling him. The British singer, he was a once One Direction member, Zayn Malik, was the celebrity many Muslims, especially Pakistani ones, like to claim as their own because he had a father who was a Pakistani Muslim and his family appears to be Muslim. In an interview to British Vogue, Zayn said, Zayn was asked if he would call himself a Muslim, and his reply was, "No, I wouldn't." He added that he thinks religious beliefs are a very personal matter between the person and whatever they choose to believe, and that he doesn't like talking about them because it can lead to a lot of trouble. And as a result of him kind of walking a very thin line there, some of his fans are now canceling him.
What does it mean, canceling him?
Basically not supporting him anymore, not supporting his music.
Okay.
Right?
That's weird. Like he's not gonna get hurt. In fact, I'm hoping he gets a lot more support because of this. But so this is great. This is like a lot of people. You know, when you had in the 1960s and 70s, so many people that were gay. They were the first, the first heroes that came out and became openly gay, even though the social backlash to them was going to be huge. And they accepted it, but they paved the way for a lot of other people to be able to openly say that they're gay. And then a lot of people think celebrities should stay out of these discussions, but I think when stuff like this, when they're taboo and a celebrity openly says it, I think it really helps normalize this, right? So this guy is basically an ex-Muslim, right? Isn't he? Or was he? Jim, did we lose you? Oh my god.
No.
Okay, what happened? Jim, so is this guy, was he a Muslim and is he an ex-Muslim?
Yeah, he was actually raised in a Muslim family. His father was a British Pakistani immigrant, immigrated from Pakistan,
Right.
and
So
his mother, who married his father, then converted to Islam.
right. So this really normalizes, you know, being an ex-Muslim or leaving Islam, right? This goes a long way. This really helps. Just like the celebrities that came out as openly gay made a lot of people that were ashamed about being gay were ashamed. Maybe like they thought maybe I just should keep it to myself. It gave them, uh, the encouragement that they needed to just be who they are and not be ashamed of who they are and say it openly. And I think this also does the same thing, right? Especially
Sure.
when it comes with somebody with such high profile, right? So a lot of, this is gonna do a lot for a lot of people that might be, um, ex-Muslims or living in Muslim families, but think not. Maybe I don't know if this stuff makes sense. When they see this
No,
news, they might be like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say it as well. This is bullshit. I don't agree with all this nonsense, right?" But go on.
No, yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, and he's, said that his reason that he was no longer a practicing Muslim from a religious aspect was that he doesn't believe that you need to eat a certain meat that's been prayed over a certain way, halal meat. He doesn't believe that you need to read a certain prayer in a certain language, facing a certain way 5 times a day. He said that he just believes that if you're a good person, everything is going to go right for you, and that's it's really great, that he's spreading that message, to where just because somebody is raised in a Muslim family, because this isn't somebody who's converted from Christianity or something else. It's somebody whose father, is from Pakistan. He is very very much so a Muslim. Born and raised, him and his sister both,
Right.
and this is a huge blow to Islam, though, because, like you said, such a high profile. It's kind of does the opposite of what Sinead O'Connor did by converting to Islam from Christianity or from Catholicism. He,
Right.
it's a really big blow.
And I don't know if people understand how big of a blow this is, because a lot of Muslims that I talk to, they didn't even know that it's possible to be an ex-Muslim, right? And many Muslim leaders and scholars make it seem like once somebody becomes Muslim, it's impossible. Like, it's not just because of the threats, but Islam makes so much sense that it's impossible for somebody to leave Islam, right? And this basic, and I don't know if people understand how common that view is, and how shocking it is to even to this day, even to Muslims outside of Islamic country, for them to meet somebody that actually left Islam or not is was in a Muslim family, but they're not Muslims. So even to this day, in Western countries, like in New York, for example, I talked to this guy, like, "Brother, you're a Muslim?" I was like, "No, I'm an ex-Muslim," and he was so shocked, and he could not believe. Like, he was like, "Brother, don't say that. What the hell?" I still see
Well,
so many Muslims that could not believe that people actually leave Islam, and this is an image that a lot of Muslims try to preserve. Like, the direction is always one way, right? If
One
anybody just
Direction.
reads oh my god. No, but this One Direction singer that proved that there's actually two directions. People leave Islam because and the perception is that if anybody ever reads the Quran, just reads the Quran once, they have no choice but become Muslim, because that's how much sense it makes. But it's the truth is the exact opposite. A lot of people leave Islam after they read the Quran. The only thing I say about what he's saying is that when he says he wants to keep, first of all, it should be everyone's choice to keep their religion personal, but like that, or not a lack of religion personal, right? We just encourage people to be open about their lack of religion, but it's obviously their choice. I just hoping that when people say something is personal, they're not telling people that are public about it to that's not okay, because as much as we support people that want to keep it personal, we also want to encourage people that are public about it, that want to normalize it. And in fact,
Right.
when he said that this is a personal thing and he doesn't, because he's not a Muslim, he's now, this is now very public. And when he said that he doesn't want to talk about it because it brings a lot of, I don't know, drama but now this is going to bring a lot of shit towards him. So I don't know if he completely understood what he's getting into, because just saying that I want to stay out of it, but I'm not a Muslim. Well, now you're in it. You're deep in it. Like, I don't know.
Well,
yeah. Go
I
on.
mean, you were saying that that as with him coming out, that it would encourage other people to also admit to themselves that they don't necessarily accept Islamic beliefs and the Islamic practices. But I actually believe that he himself is an example of that. I mean, you're looking at somebody who is a singer, somebody who drank, smoked, had tattoos. I mean, he was obviously not a devout Muslim,
Right.
but so somewhere along the way, he saw something that made him feel comfortable accepting, the fact that he did not accept Islamic practices, and that he could feel comfortable saying it out loud that he's not a practicing Muslim.
All right. So, but there's a huge difference. And again, I know a lot of people might not understand this. I'm an ex-Muslim, and I could tell you that there's a huge difference between not being a practicing Muslim and not actually believing in Islam, right? Because all of that can be forgiven in Islam, right? If you sin, you could be a Muslim, believe in all that, Allah, Quran, and all that, and be non-practicing Muslim. That just means you're not a very good Muslim. You're sinning all day long, and you could repent, or you could do tawbah and it might be forgiven, or you just pay for it a little bit and then go to heaven, as long as you're a Muslim, right? So the non-practicing part for most Muslims is less of an issue than the non-believing part, because that's a different line to cross. So you could be like, yeah, I'm a Muslim, I believe in Muhammad, I believe in Quran, and you do none of the practices, you're sinning, but you're at least a Muslim that is sinning, right? But when you say you don't believe in these things, that's a whole other ballgame. That's a different category under the Islamic viewpoint. Now you're an apostate, right? All of that other shit, drinking, sex before marriage, tattoos, not living according to Islam, all of that could have been forgiven, by God, or after spending some time in hell, right? Then you go to heaven. But this is a completely different. Now you're an apostate. Yeah, that means eternal torture in hell. You're never gonna get out. And by Islamic hadith, and I know a lot of Muslims don't know Islamic hadith, but according to Islamic hadith, you should be executed. So, but let me read some of the. Do you have anything to say before I read the comments on the post?
Oh no, I'll just going to agree with you and say, in fact, that I guess you could say that has to do with many religions. There are people who practice through religion and would say that they are followers of the religion, yet on the surface they are most certainly not fundamental followers.
Right. So just let you guys know, for the people that were listening to the podcast version of this later. First, I read the comments on the Facebook post that we originally made. Then we're gonna check out the YouTube live stream, and then we're gonna check out some of the comments on the relevant comment on the Facebook live stream. So the top comment on the original Facebook post that we made this on the Atheist Republic page was, it's from Deanna. Deanna is saying, all those poor Muslim girls can't marry him now, but I can. Okay. Nan is saying, well done. What's his name? Zian? Zian?
It's Zayn.
Zayn. Oh, Zayn. Okay. Zayn Malik. Good job.
Zayn Malik.
Yep. I didn't know of this guy until now, by the way. Is that weird? Is he, like, he's how famous is he?
No, I mean, I knew of One Direction, but I mean, I'm sure there's many people out there who know all four members, and they're probably attracted to one of the four.
Right. David is saying, does that not prove Muslims would only accept Muslims? Well, many of them, yes. Rob is saying, to make up for Cyanide O'Connor. That's funny. Mahira is saying, best decision he has ever made. I'm an ex-Muslim also. Edwin is saying, I don't know who the fuck that is, but good for him. Let me say the YouTube live chat. So, guys, if you want me to read any of the comments, first of all, make sure you tag Atheist Republic, and also make sure it's relevant to the news we're covering. I see some questions that is not relevant to the news. If you want to reach me for some of these questions that you have, message me on Facebook. I try to respond to all of the messages that I get. I'm usually not successful, but I try my best. Reach out to Jim, maybe. He's, okay.
Yep.
So
Jim Majors,
Jim
Majors.
Jim Majors. So I'm not seeing anything, questions relevant to the news on YouTube. Let me know if you see anything. I'm going to check the Facebook. Jeff Shaw is saying being Muslim is learned. We were all atheist. Well, we were all born atheist. Yeah, I agree. I tell them they used. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. Yep. So I think that's the only relevant comment here. By the way, both in Facebook and YouTube, if you guys want me to read anything, make sure you tag Atheist Republic. All right. Should we go to the next news?
Yeah.
All right, next news.
Texas pastor blames the devil for child sex abuse charges against him.
Oh
Pastor Jean Jacob Jeudy, hell of a name, a 48-year-old Texas pastor of the church Walk by Faith International Missionary, was arrested and charged with sexually assaulting a child. He blamed Satan for the charges. He said they are being made through the devil. He was booked Thursday into the El Paso jail, and he was released on a $30,000 bond later that day.
Okay, so is he saying he didn't do it and Satan is bringing up the charges, or he's saying that he did it, but it was the devil's fault that he did it?
Well, at first he was saying, well, after he posted the bond, the newspaper contacted him in El Paso, and he said that he was arrested because somebody accused him of something that he doesn't really know about what happened, that happened back in 2011. And he said that the allegations were lies and that he had a lawyer working to clear his name. Now, just to be clear, these charges are one count of sexual assault of a child and two counts of indecency with a child by sexual contact. And he went on later into this interview and said that the accusations were being made through the devil, and said that the devil's a deceiver and comes to destroy.
Yeah, let's see how that holds up in court.
Right, we'll see. But maybe the devil planted evidence also that will tie him to this. Yeah.
The devil went and well, he put the bones and fossils around for the dinosaurs. He maybe had some spare time to also put some evidence to get this pastor in trouble.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, what a great way to make yourself look uncredible in court now. Like nothing else you're gonna say is gonna be able to be trusted, I guess.
Well, I mean, he was going to be kissing all of that money that he was collecting at church goodbye if he admitted to doing it. I mean, so his only option, if he wanted to keep all that money, and keep his congregation in his church, was to just blame it on the devil.
Do we know that it was proven that he did it or not?
We don't know if it was proven. He was released on bail, so there has not. That was just there was enough evidence to issue a warrant for his arrest,
right,
but there was not enough to hold him without bond, and so his trial has not been announced yet.
Okay, I just want to let people, and guys, let me know if you disagree in the comments. But I want to let you guys know to be careful with assuming that somebody is guilty as atheist because somebody's a pastor, right? Oh, am I losing Dean? Not Dean? Jim. Oh my God, Jim's connection is poor. But while I wait for Jim, hold on, let me call him back. God damn it, Jim. Get a better connection. Jim, come on. All right, I wish it wouldn't make this sound so I could speak. Hold on, guys. 1 second. Jim!
Yeah.
You need a better connection. Come on, guy.
I'm so sorry.
Every week we have like one time your cat jumped on your laptop. Then
Yeah.
okay, so we need every week you have there's a connection problem. I don't know if that was your cat. I think that was just anyway. That's
No,
like the dog.
that was my cat.
Are you sure? Because it
I'm
sounds
sure.
like the dog ate my homework kind of excuse.
It does. It does kind of sound like that.
Okay, but get a better connection so that we don't have this problem during the live stream. Anyways, but I was telling people that we need to be careful when the suspect is a pastor, because for example, we have some accusations made against some people in the atheist community, right? Like David Silverman and Lawrence Krauss, and everybody is like, some people are like, oh yeah, they did it, and some people are like, no, wait for the evidence, right? From the atheist community. But this wait for the evidence part needs to be, if that a guy is a pastor, you can't just reduce your standards, but it's like, yeah, of course he did it. He's a Catholic pastor. Is he a Catholic pastor?
No, he's not.
What is he then?
He's just it seems to be like a non-denominational church.
All right, so whatever. People say like Christian leaders, of course they do. No, like, let the court go through the process, and hopefully if he did it, they will find the evidence for it, right? Just hold your judgment. Do not say he didn't do it. Do not say he did it. Always wait for the evidence.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter if they're on our side or on the other person's side. We don't take sides based on whether you're an atheist or a Christian or a Muslim. Always just follow the evidence. I mean, if you're following the evidence, you wouldn't be a Muslim or a Christian, but you get my point. Let me see. Do you want to add anything to that before I read the comments?
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay. Bishwa is saying, and the devil find the case against him for defamation. That's great. Bishwa is saying, and the devil filed the case against him for defamation.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
That's good. That was a good comment. Jeff is saying, I would blame climate change for my fist in his face. Okay, I hope that's it. Yeah, again, as long as this is a joke, it's fine, but I hope nobody is advocating for violence. Carlos is saying, caught cheating on your wife. Devil made me do it. Murder, devil, rape, murder. Shellfish, devil, global warming, devil. Get the fuck out of there. Yeah, okay, so I get the point. Let me see if... Oh, Beach. Hi, Beach. Hi, Casey. Beach and Casey are on the YouTube live chat. Beach is our admin on our YouTube live chat, so it's good that we have an admin here. Beach is saying he's definitely guilty of having a lousy retort to the charges. Yes, even if he's not didn't do this. I mean, okay. I'm hoping. I don't want to say that, actually. I don't want to compare these two again. But this guy is an idiot, no matter what. But if he actually did do these, I really, really hope that he get caught. And like they find him guilty. Anyways, we already talked about that. Let me see if there is comments on Facebook. Jeff Shaw, he's trying for a freedom of religious excuse. Yep. Jeff. Oh, hi, Jeff. Jeff is in the Facebook live chat. Make sure you tag Atheist Republic if you want me to read something. Brian saying incorrect about that remark. The next status hearing is November 29th. The trial is scheduled for February. Should be interesting to see how it turns out. Okay.
February, awesome.
Atheist Republic. That's according to CBS4 local news, by the way. All right. Thank you, Brian, for letting us know. Okay. Should we go to the next news?
That sounds good.
Okay.
Oklahoma just elected an anti-vaxxer as its governor.
Oh, fuck.
Kevin Stitt, an anti-vaxxer and a Republican businessman, got elected as Oklahoma's 28th governor. He beat Democrat Drew Edmondson by 12 points, despite never having run for elected office before, and he gives all the credit to, guess who?
Jesus.
God.
Oh, close enough.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, it's the same thing, I think.
Well, that depends on what... Okay, never mind.
Yeah, it depends on who you talk to.
Yeah. Okay, so by the way, to people that say, what does anti-vaccination have to do with atheism? Again, I want to remind you that Atheist Republic is a community for atheists. It's not always about atheism; it's for atheists, right? And we cover the news that we see that is mostly interesting to our community. And given the fact that this got 1.2 K reactions, it shows that this was very interesting to the Atheist Republic community. But you always get that one person. Actually, you get both of these kind of people. What does it got to do with atheism? And then you get the other side, like, why do you always have to post about religion and atheism? Like, okay. So, but yeah, I mean, anti-vaccination is a fucking disease that we need to fight. And an Atheist Republic would go after all kinds of nonsense, not just religious nonsense. But yeah, so what do you think about this, Jim? Like, why is it that a loon like this gets to be governor? I mean, do you think that his policies are going to affect the way? I mean, obviously it will, but what do you think?
Well, I mean, as somebody who lives in Oklahoma and who has kids in the public school system, this is going to affect, my children potentially. I mean, this is really it's infuriating that they would allow somebody in office who and allow them to pass legislature based on their lack of knowledge of basic science. It's frustrating.
I really don't know in United States. I'm in Canada, so a governor, what can they do? Like, do they?
Okay, so you have state rights and you have federal rights in the United States. Federal rights encompass all of the states together, and states' rights are divided up amongst the states. And the states' rights, the governor is basically the leader of that particular state.
Yeah, but can he pass laws and does he approve laws and?
Yeah, he can. It's the same voting process. It's pretty much the exact same thing on a federal level, but on a state level, just a smaller scale. I mean, there are some differences, but for the most part, it's the same.
But isn't okay? So in the United States, this whole anti-vax thing, is that like the laws that they have against it? Is that like a state by state thing, or is there a federal law that mandates people to get their kids vaccinated or stay out of school? Is that like,
when it comes to public schools, there is a federal mandate because they are federally funded and not necessarily state funded. So I do know that there is a federal minimum for vaccines. Like, you have to have at least these vaccines, but then I believe the states can also, so the states can't take away any right, or can't take away anything from federal law, but they can add to it. So they can make the restrictions harder. So for instance, if a state wanted to raise the drinking age from the federal age of 21 to 27 and they voted on it, they could do that.
Yeah, what the hell, Oklahoma? What's wrong with you? Why did you guys elect this guy?
Yeah, I mean, the guy who was running against him, Drew Edmondson, he was a fantastic guy, ran on a great platform, and there was no reason why he shouldn't have won. I mean, other than he was running in Oklahoma. And for the people who aren't in the United States, Oklahoma is not the brightest crayon in the crayon box.
Okay, we just lost all our Oklahoma fans. Ryan is saying the same thing under the Facebook post. He's saying, "It's Oklahoma. Is anyone really surprised?" Racist outnumber teeth. There, what is that? Racist outnumber teeth.
Racist outnumber teeth. Yeah. Well, the toothbrush was invented in Oklahoma.
No.
If it was invented anywhere else, they would call it a teeth brush.
I don't get the joke, but okay. Craig is saying...
Meaning that the people who don't have very many teeth.
Okay, here's a comment that I don't like, okay? Craig is saying natural selection will take care of this problem. First of all, there's a couple of things wrong with this. I know it might be a joke, but I also know some people actually mean this seriously, right? When you're anti-vaccine, well, then natural selection will take you out of the gene pool. First of all, we're talking about children paying for the stupid price of their parents, right? Secondly, we're talking about people paying for stupidity with death. That's an extreme. That's not deserved, even if you're the dumbest person ever, right? I don't think it's deserved. Right. Like, that's the overreaction. And I know this might be a joke, but I know a lot of people actually mean this. And thirdly, what was thirdly? Oh, it's not just going to affect the kids that are not going to get vaccinated, right? More kids not getting vaccinated is going to, it's going to be bad for everybody, right? It's called herd immunity, I think. Correct me if
Right.
I'm wrong, right? So this
Herd
is
immunity,
wrong
right?
on so many levels.
Well, the problem isn't necessarily. I hate saying Governor Stitt. Like Governor Stitt. The whole problem behind this is that it's not a. I mean, it's already a law that you can be religiously exempted or philosophically exempted or medically exempted for personal reasons from immunizations in public schools. So it's not like he would be doing anything, and he hasn't proposed a law change or anything like that. But they're what they need to do is remove the ability for people to exempt themselves for religious or philosophical reasons. Like medical reasons is different. If there's a legitimate reason why you cannot get a vaccination, if it was threatening to your health, then that's different.
Yeah,
But
and if that's the only excuse we accept, the numbers would be too low for it to affect other people. But when you when you have religious exemptions, then the numbers are going to be way too high, and it's going to affect everybody. By the way,
That's right.
Christina is saying not vaccinating your kids should be considered negligence. I agree with that, and it should be a fucking crime. Like I think if you're kind of parents that wouldn't vaccinate your kids, I think your kids should be taken away from you by force. Is that too extreme to say? I think
No.
I don't. Yeah. Let me see. Liz in the Facebook live chat is saying religious exemption exists. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, and actually this ties it. You know how I said at the beginning, this might not have to do anything with religion. Actually, people in the Facebook live chat are pointing out that religious and medical exemptions exist. Yeah, unfortunately, actually, this ties into religion a lot. Yeah.
But look. All right. So even if it's just people with medical exemptions, those people should be fighting for this the most. They should be fighting to remove this law the most, because in order for their child to be healthy, they cannot have these vaccines. So they rely on everybody else to increase the herd immunity to protect their child. So they should be the biggest advocates for this.
Right. Okay, so let me actually rephrase what you're saying just to see if I understand it. So the parents of the kids that don't want their kids vaccinated for good medical reasons, right? Like there are few minority kids that shouldn't be vaccinated, right? Those parents should be fighting for making sure other parents are vaccinating their kids, because their kids are the main victims of not having herd immunity, right?
Exactly.
So these kids that are not getting vaccinated for good reason need more kids getting vaccinated, because they are the most at risk if more kids don't get vaccinated. Is that correct, the way I said it?
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
All right, let me see that. Oh, I actually read it already. Okay, I think we're ready for the next news.
The next news. Before the rampage at a bar in Thousand Oaks, California.
Wait, read the title first.
Oh, I apologize. Title: California shooter. People only offer prayers after gun violence, yet I'm the crazy one.
Wait, shit, this is not good. Okay, go on. Read the summary.
Before the rampage at a bar in Thousand Oaks, California, the mass shooter apparently posted about the uselessness of hopes and prayers on Facebook. Ian David Long, a 28-year-old former Marine who served in Afghanistan, shot people at a borderline bar and grill Wednesday night, and this was his post on Facebook. Quote, "I hope people call me insane, laugh emojis. Wouldn't that just be a big ball of irony? Yeah, I'm insane, but the only thing you people do after these shootings is hopes and prayers, or keep you in my thoughts every time, and you wonder why these things keep happening." And his motives are still unknown.
Well, my response to this is that there are worse things than being insane, and one of those worst things is being a mass shooter. Right? Like this person, first of all, the fact is that if he is sane, then he should be hated more than if he was insane, right? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not actually mentally ill in any way, and you go out and shoot a whole bunch of people, then you're just fucking evil, right? And I take insane over pure evil any day, right?
Right. Well, back in April, the county sheriff was called on him to for disturbance of some sort, and a mental health specialist actually came with a crisis team. They thought that he might be suicidal or suffering from post traumatic stress disorder (PTSD). But they spoke to him, and after some deliberation, they decided that they weren't going to arrest him for psychiatric issues. And then here we are 7 months later, and the officers are going to his house, but this time to recover and try to figure out why he did this.
Right. I mean, again, just because somebody fucked up like this says something that is, semi right. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as saying the people that ask for prayers are insane. They're just wrong. Insane is like you have to be a mental expert to be able to say if somebody is insane. I don't know. Is insane a medical term, or is that just something you say for people that are stupid? I don't know. But
I mean, I think it's a medical term, but I think people are quick to jump to it. And if you notice, people will only call somebody insane is if that's the best possible term for it. If it's whether they're, and it all depends on if they support it or not. And in the United States, it depends on if they were a Republican or a Democrat, especially now.
Well, I mean, I think it's both. It's both a medical term and also a term we use for things that don't make sense. Like we say, "Oh my God, that's fucking insane," right? So it doesn't always have to be a medical term. So I think it's okay to use it. But I think coming from this guy, like, I don't, just because somebody is, saying something that might be semi-true, that doesn't, I mean, this, come on, fuck this guy. Who cares that he might, like, yeah, prayers don't work, but fuck you, right? Like, I don't care that you're saying something that is right. You have way worse problems than thinking that prayers work. Like, you shoot people. Come on, you shoot people, and you're judging people for thinking prayers don't work. Go fuck yourself. Yeah. Let me see if there's any. Did you want to say anything to add to that before I read the
I
comments?
mean, for everybody who's saying that he's insane, there have been people who've known him not just his whole life, but even after he's gotten out of the military, that said that he wasn't mentally insane, he wasn't unhinged. He led a normal life. So I mean, we have to take mental health. I mean, that's it's really a cop out. I think, in my opinion.
I mean, I don't know. You people just are. If you're just saying this guy is insane just for saying, just meaning that it doesn't make sense, that's fine. But if you're saying insane as in this guy could claim insanity, then I don't think any of us are in a position to know. Like, we just don't know. Okay, so, but either case, fuck this guy. Brian is in the top comment on the Facebook post is saying Brian is saying, I'm not on the shooter's side, but he does have a point. Praying to fairy tale illusion, that's been embedded. Whenever he's saying, I don't even know if you have to say, I'm not on the shooter's side. Like, really, Brian? Well, does that need to be said? Maybe not, I don't know. Let me see. Praying to a fairy tale illusion that's been embedded in society that has been accepted by the majority of people with no legitimacy at only their faith. What? At all, only their faith. And now that's fucking crazy, but no matter what happens, people will always believe, and that's even crazier. Yeah, but I think for us atheists, that goes without saying. I think the fact that, I mean, we have that's coming from this guy. I mean, if it was coming from someone else, we would be like, yeah, you're right. But if it's coming from this guy, I think the only reaction is like, go fuck yourself. I don't know. Am I wrong
Right.
here? Clint
Nope.
is saying, well, he shut up a club. Yeah, I would say he is the crazy one. I don't know if we could say that. He could be just evil. Some people in the Facebook are saying evil question mark as if is that because you think atheists cannot be using the word atheist? No, atheists. No, So let me rephrase that. Is that because you think atheists cannot use the word evil? Is that why you're asking evil? Like, what do I mean by evil? Because they're saying
Yeah, I mean the
evil.
concept of evil isn't exclusive to religion.
No, and in fact, I would say religion is evil. Lacking empathy. Well, lacking empathy is another way I would call. I would say. I would say. Evil. That's the very definition I think of evil, I guess. But somebody is asking, was he an atheist? In the Facebook live chat, well, it seemed like he was an atheist. Again, it doesn't fucking matter. He shoots people. He shoots people. We could disagree all we want. Like, hey, I'm an atheist. You're a Muslim. You're wrong. No, you're wrong. You're a Christian. No, you're wrong. But then you have people that actually hurt, other people. That's a completely different category of this. That's beyond disagreeing on ideology. Okay, this guy hurts people. This guy shoots people. Okay, this is beyond discussion. It doesn't. He's an atheist? Fuck him. He's a Muslim? Fuck him. He's a Christian? Fuck him. I don't give a shit. Fuck him. He shoots people. Let me see. No, that's not the top comment. Dylan is saying, I love how media doesn't report suicides to prevent copycats, but they will report school shootings with video footage on air as well as 24-hour coverage of the event. I don't know if you can not cover these. Like, this is news. It's a mass shooting. What do you want to do? Not cover a mass shooting like it didn't happen? Wouldn't the relatives to the victims be like, what the fuck? Why is nobody paying attention to what happened to us? Like, is that a really legitimate request to say, like, please don't cover mass shootings? It's a fucking mass shooting. I think the day that we're not covering mass shootings is the day that we accepted that this is now normal part of this. It's just, another mass shooting. I guess we are heading there. Ray saying, I offer him something. No, I'm not going to read that. That's violence. Let me see. Anything in the... You check the YouTube... Okay, let me see. Yeah, go.
Yeah. Christina says, instead of offering prayers, people need to teach their kids not to hate others and start shooting places up. I think she means stop shooting places up.
Bobby B is saying something. Is that to this news or the previous news? I agree.
That was to... Yeah.
What? Previous news?
No, it was this one.
Okay, so you want to read it?
Bobby B says, I agree. All we can do as people who are not there is hope and have kind thoughts for the family.
Oh, yeah. Or also you could actually do something like legally to help stop these, I guess. That would be even better. But that would be another big can of worm that we open. People are asking in the Facebook live chat, what is evil? I don't know if you want to open that here. Actually, no, we don't want to open that can of worm here.
Yeah, that's a big can of worms.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next news.
Mother of mass shooting victim from the same shooting says, I don't want prayers. I want gun control.
Oh, wow. Well, this is a person now that we can take seriously about this topic.
That's right. So this is a mother of the mass shooting victim, said that she does not want prayers, she wants gun control. Her son, Telemachus Orphanos, was a survivor of another mass shooting in Las Vegas that some of you may remember. The mother's message was, quote, I hope to God no one sends me any more prayers. I want gun control, no more guns, end quote. She says that he survived the Las Vegas shooting, but he unfortunately did not survive the Thousand Oaks massacre.
He survived what?
He survived a mass shooting in Las Vegas.
What? This son went through two. Imagine being the mother of this son and be going through the terror of having your son going through one mass shooting, and being relieved that he survived it, only for him to go through a second mass shooting and dying from it. What the heck? There
was another person there who survived, who was also at the Las Vegas mass shooting. He had survived 2 shootings.
Unbelievable. This poor mom. I don't know if people understand how annoying it is when you lose somebody and they pray for you. Like when my mom died from cancer, so many people say like, oh, she's in a better place now. We pray for her soul and all the Islamic stuff. Some of them, and it's so annoying because you wanna be sad. You just lost your mom. You don't make this less than what it is. Like, I was being very polite with these people, and I just said thank you to every single one of them. But if I wasn't this polite, I wanted to tell them, go fuck yourself every single time, right? Shut the fuck up. No, my mom is dead, okay? There's nothing,
Right.
shut. Every time I wanted to tell them to shut the fuck up. But every time I told them thank you because I think they had good intentions, even though it was very hurtful. But this, I guess, I mean, thank you for this mom, just for saying this at least. But I don't know. But okay, so she says she doesn't want prayer; she wants gun control, and I know that's another can of worms that we don't want to open here. I personally think that we need gun control, and then in the United States, it's just I think it's weird that it's one of the most advanced, one of the few most advanced countries in the world that doesn't have as much as gun control as like other countries like Japan and other civilized
Right.
countries in the world.
Right.
I
Other
don't.
countries like Japan, Japan has a very, very bad mental health problem, but they don't have a mass shooting problem.
Right, and I want people to know that I know a lot of people. The Atheist Republic community is probably very divided in this. Like, we have many people on both sides of this discussion. And people can have this discussion in the comment section and disagree with each other. And I know me saying that I'm from gun control. A lot of people that follow and support me might be disappointed, but I have to say I just don't understand the gun obsession in the United States. Um, and I'm happy to be proven wrong. And I just don't understand why it's like. I mean, it's easier to get like a gun in the United States than getting a driver's license.
Right.
And so I just don't understand why can't you just make the requirements just as hard as being able to drive a car? I don't understand. But again, that's another can of worm that if we opened, and I know people in the live chat. I know a lot of you gonna disagree with me, but we could have that disagreement, and we could like. I'm happy to be proven wrong. Um,
Bobby
yeah.
B in the live chat says, "I wish I thought there were ways to limit violence like this. Combating dangerous ideology is a good start, but there have always been psychopaths, and I think there always will be."
Yeah, but if you have a psychopath coming at you with a chainsaw, I think if you take the chainsaw away from the psychopath, then there's going to be less damage, right?
Yeah.
So, Mike is
Well,
saying,
I mean, gun control, it's not, nobody's saying that it has to be implemented by itself and that gun control by itself is going to help. There are many things that this country needs that are causing mass shootings, but gun control is a step in the right direction.
yeah, and Mike in the top comment on the Facebook post is actually it's from Mike. He's saying, you know what gun control and prayers have in common? Neither do what they claim to do. I mean, I've seen a lot of studies that they do, and why is it that only United States is in a country that says they don't? I mean, maybe I'm wrong, Mike. Maybe you're right. If I'm wrong, please. I'm hoping to be proven wrong. I'm open to this. I'm open to changing my mind on this. But it just doesn't make sense that as a tool that is designed to kill people and is tool that is like not that is designed to kill people in such high numbers should not be hard to get. I don't understand why that's not obvious, and we could have that debate, I guess, and under Atheist Republic discussions if there's demand for it. Again, this is not atheism related, so if there's not demand for it, we wouldn't have this discussion.
Right.
William is saying, oh, it seems to be working here in the UK too. So it seemed like a lot of the comments to reactions to Mike comment is like people giving them examples of it working. I mean, it's working in Japan, it's working in Canada, it's working in the UK. So yeah. Let me see. That's people are wow. This gun control thing, it just starts a lot of fighting, right? Look at the comments here.
Yeah, it's a touchy subject.
Diane is saying prayers are useless. Stricter gun laws are less useless. Do people that say that they don't want stricter gun laws, do they think that people should also be able to drive a car without a license? Like, would they support that as well?
I mean, they would have to if they're not going to be hypocritical.
Bobby B. Okay, here's a nice comment. Bobby B. in the live chat is saying, "I disagree on gun control, but I still love you, dude." Ah, that's nice. Okay, this is good. We can disagree and try to learn from each other, and at the same time, so
That's right.
Yeah, I love
Well,
you too, Bobby.
one thing that I love about our community is that generally, not always, but generally as atheists, we are more logical, more reasonable, and more open to new information. And so it's a lot easier to discuss things like this within our community.
Beach is saying maybe teach conflict management skills in early teens at school as well as gun control. Yeah, conflict management skills. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not an expert. We have background checks. That is the test for getting a license. Yeah, okay. So, people that know more about this, comment, please. Let us know what you think about more gun control, less gun control. And what do you think? Why is the United States so obsessed with guns compared to other countries? Let me see some Facebook comments. Brian is the only one that is tagging Atheist Republic, so I'm just going to read Brian. Oh, Jeff is also tagging Atheist Republic. So Brian is saying, unfortunately, I'm not entirely sure what can be done in terms of gun control. I don't think total disarmament would be welcome or practical. Okay. Why do you think... Oh, where did that comment go? I don't think... wait. Wow, that's a long comment. At the same time, I'm not sure that our laws are adequately enforced or restrictive enough. Many are in favor of more restrictive laws, actually. I don't think it's any one thing that can be done or to stop it. A number of things need to change to effectively combat gun violence. I'm a gun owner myself, and I'm over sick of seeing this. If more restrictive laws are needed, then I'll take it. One thing, okay, so there's two things that, very good comment, Brian, thank you for that. I just want to point out two things when it comes to discussing gun control. One is that a lot of people seem to make their decisions not based on... First of all, a lot of people seem too sure about their views. Like, I'm not very sure about my position, right? Because it takes a lot of time to actually research this, right? So I'm just... I'm not married to the position I have right now because it takes more to be more certain about your position. A lot of people seem to be very certain about positions that they have done very little research on, right? Another thing is that it seems a lot of people's position is based on their political ideology rather than basically actually evaluating the harm and cost of something. There was one other point I wanted to bring, but I forgot. Yeah, also Jeff is saying Atheist Republic is like motorbikes. They are great, but there's too many cars now to ride bikes anymore. Okay. Yeah, so make sure if you're taking a side on this, try to see actually what the research says. Try to see what the peer-reviewed research says, not just research, and try to see, if your political alliance is influencing your decision on things. Try to see if you could look at it from a more unbiased perspective. Try to assume that always assume that you might be wrong, and see, again, this is very important. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. A lot of people seem to say that this is not going to seem to think that if a solution wouldn't completely fix something, then it's not worth doing it. But there's no solution that is going to completely fix this. There's going to be many solutions that each one of them is going to contribute a bit to fixing the problem. So just pointing to one solution and saying, well, this is not going to completely eradicate this problem is not a good argument, because then none of them are. It's a combination of a whole bunch of things that is going to help reduce this problem. So if you say, oh, if you take away guns, we're going to still have psychopaths, I don't know that's a good argument, because the point is not do one thing and this whole thing is going to go away, right? You have to say if it's in a step in the right direction, even just a little bit, if it's worth doing or not. Anyways,
Sure.
well, actually, there's some more comments on the YouTube. Stacy is saying we definitely need regular proficiency tests at minimum. Casey AC is saying I don't get the obsession either. 111 guns per 100 people in the United States. Jesus, is that right? Oh my God, if that's right, that's crazy. There's 111 guns per 100 person in the United States. So some people have shitload of guns. Christina is saying Atheist Republic, you can beat someone to the death with a stick, but it's going to take a lot longer than one bullet. Okay, I'm not sure what. Okay, I'm not getting the point here, but I hope other people get it. Ricky is saying, by the way, Ricky is our Christian guest in the live chat. I really appreciate having Christians and Muslims in the live chat so that they could disagree with us more. Which is thank you for being here, Ricky. It's very good that people expose themselves to other people's opinions, like Ricky here. 30 years ago, teenagers used to take their guns to school. Mass shootings were unheard of. What has happened over the last 3-4 decades that people are killing one another? Again,
Whoa.
Ricky.
Whoa! Wait! Hold on. Unheard of? Okay. Oh yeah. Do you not remember the University of Texas Tower shooting where that guy climbed to the top of that tower and killed 31 people in 1966 at a university?
Well, I think his argument is saying there's way more now.
Well, I would disagree. I would just say that they're more publicized.
Well, I mean, the thing is that when it comes to analyzing trends, what I say, Ricky, you might be right. I don't know, okay? But what I'm saying is that when it comes to analyzing trends, I don't think it's a good idea to just think about, oh, this is going up, that's going up, this is going up, but that's the same. This is why we have peer-reviewed research, right? Peer-reviewed academic research. Because there's so many external factors that us just thinking like, oh, just thinking about it in our head is not going to take a whole bunch of shit into account. And it's not going to adjust for a lot of control, things that other people control for. It's not a good way to just look at trends in society, just like armchair, sit in our chair and think about this like, oh, I think these two things are related. There's a proven way to actually analyze these things, and that's why I'm not married to my position, because I've seen some research, for example, that suggests that I might be wrong, I might be right, sorry, but I don't know. One reason why I'm not married to my position is because I don't know how good those research were, right? I don't know if those were research that could be trusted. So even though I have some research that makes me think that maybe I'm right, I don't know the quality of that research, so I'm not married to my position. But at the end of the day, it's better to not judge based on intuitions and guesswork and just analyzing trends in your head.
Well, okay, so I have actually researched this topic quite a bit. It's something that I'm passionate about. I am a gun owner. I also own a farm. I use my guns for protection, both for me and for my animals. So I get into this argument quite frequently with other farmers and people who are generally conservative in this area. But I mean, mass shootings don't even or barely account for a like 1 or 2% of all shooting deaths. So the reason mass shootings are so publicized, I mean, is because they're horrible. So many people die at one time. But let's not pretend that shooting deaths and gun crime is exclusive to mass shootings, because greater than 90% of all these shooting deaths come from a single shot from a single gun to a single person.
Right. Renzo is saying guns are part of the libertarian value system that the U.S. was founded upon. Individuals and militias wanted to defend themselves against state and tyranny and foreign invasions. And again, Renzo, this is why it's important not to be an ideologue and actually just look at the cost and benefit of any policies rather than being like, I support this because this is my ideology. I mean, I consider myself a libertarian as well, but that doesn't mean that I will support everything because I'm a libertarian. Everything has to be judged based on, case by case, based on the evidence for or against it. Renzo is saying in Europe and East Asia, on the other hand, people eventually accepted the authority of sovereign state, taking away their weapons. This is also why Europeans and Asians generally accept more state intervention, like high taxes in the private lives. Wow, that's an interesting history lesson. Thank you, Renzo. Bobby, last point. I'm going to read. Bobby is saying, great point about mass shootings being few of totals. If we remove the high crime and violent areas from our gun totals, I bet they become much more reasonable. All right, let's...
I mean, if we would just let God back in school arm and these shootings would stop.
No, I don't. I mean, even if we disagree with Bobby, I don't think that's close to what he's saying.
No. I'm not saying that in response to Bobby. I'm just saying that as an addendum to the topic.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure it will. All right, so... Oh, just one more thing. Beach is saying most of Canada's gun deaths are suicides. I don't know if... Okay. Should we go to the next news?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I agree with Beach. If we're going to fight gun crime, mass shootings isn't the thing to go with. It's suicide deaths. Suicide deaths account for much more gun deaths than mass shootings.
I don't agree that a problem has to be the biggest problem for us to worth tackling.
No, I'm not talking about the biggest problem. I'm talking about if people are wanting something done, that's the way to do it. That's how you get people's attention.
Okay, let's go to the next news.
Next news comes from the United States again. Where pro-lifer who bombed clinics and shot abortion doctor is released from jail. In the 1990s, Rochelle...
Wait, can you read the title? I think I don't have the right... I have offended pastors. Is that the next one?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, I skipped that one. Offended pastors and parents pray for high schoolers who saw Shakespeare play. The Parkway Playhouse came to Mitchell High School in Bakersville to perform the Shakespeare play on Thursday. A group of parents and pastors were so offended about the presentation that they formed a prayer circle for the students. Some people thought it had inappropriate content, and the themes involved suicide, alcohol consumption, and bad language. The Toe River Arts Council, who helped set up these plays, has apologized for the content.
Have these people read the Bible?
Have these people read Shakespeare?
Well, I mean, if they're offended by suicide, how are they not offended by somebody being crucified to a cross?
Okay, so that's what they said originally, but that's what the school board came forward and said that was their argument. But behind the scenes, the real problem was that the all-male cast. Okay, so I don't know if you've seen this particular play before, but it's basically a parody that is a condensation of 99 of Shakespeare's work. So it's like real quick, lightning fast, 3 people changing roles really fast, and they play all different kinds of people, and it just goes through Shakespeare's plays and kind of runs them all together. So it was 3 males, and at some point the 2 males shared an onstage kiss, and that was the problem, is because the parents believed that they were promoting homosexuality, but nobody wanted to say that was the reason. So
they're worried that the people are going to accuse them of homophobia.
Exactly.
Oh wow.
Okay. Yeah, but they actually called for the school board to ban anybody who would be performing if they were to promote homosexuality or suicide or incest.
So they're not offended by Shakespeare. They just were offended by the two guys kissing part.
Exactly.
And they're praying for these kids that saw 2 men kissing.
Exactly. And if you go to the Facebook posts that these like the original Facebook post of the parents who performed the prayer circle, it was, and the people who were there, it's all about the homosexuality.
So wait, is this a prayer circle and like the kids are in the middle? Like is that what is happening? It's kind of like casting a spell, like, oh, you're pure, like trying to, like the kids have been cursed with this evil thing, and they're just trying to pray. They
basically got the kids, and they all got into a circle and prayed.
It looks
similar to
evil. Like you know how like you like we're gonna. It looks like they're making a spell circle, and this good magic. Their good magic is now gonna destroy the bad magic that has inside the kids. Like, oh,
Well, looking at the photo, they were forming more of an oval, so I don't know if their spell's gonna work.
oh yeah, this is not a proper circle. Shit,
Not a proper circle.
Jesus does not approve.
He does not approve. He will not come to your shitty oval, people.
But okay, but did you think? Did these people think like their kids reading the part in the Bible where the daughters of Lot like raped their father? Did they?
Armin, those people themselves don't know that because they only hear the top 40 hits from their pastor. They don't read their own Bible.
Right. But if they find out that their kids read the part of the Bible that the daughters raped their own father, are they gonna do another prayer circle for for cleansing their children from reading the Bible? Like, is that
Oh,
gonna be
I'm sure if it brings glory to their God and earns them brownie points, they'll do whatever it takes.
Oh my God. Let me see the top comment. Bob is saying, so let me get this straight. These people are praying because a play depicted drinking, suicide, and bad language. Don't they actually read their own Bible? The top comment is exactly what they were saying.
Yep.
There's some pretty nasty crap going on right there in their own book. Hypocrites, exactly. Jeff is saying, God, please protect our youngins from culture and literature and deliver them into the hive mind, which will squash free thought and curiosity in Jesus' name. Paul is saying Trump is... What Trump has got to do with this? Trump is always going on about Mexican immigration, but not a peep about folks coming here from the Middle Ages. Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, good point.
Duncan is saying
traveling in time and space.
Duncan is saying it baffles me that the county or country, I think, with the highest GDP, I think, still behaves. Oh, I think it's country. The R is missing. The country with the highest GDP still behaves like brainless, educated program robots. Fuck religion. It's a human embarrassment. I agree with that. Peter is saying, for the love of someone dress someone dress as the devil and turn up and start telling them that they managed to summon the devil or something. Oh, that would be imagine if somebody just jumped in the circle and told them that they just summoned the devil. That would be such a great troll.
They'd be like, hey, did somebody call the devil? They'd be like, no, we were looking for God. And they're like, oh, you guys formed a fucking oval. So,
that devil showed. Yeah, they should have had like a cross thing instead of it.
but then it'd be upside down.
Is having a prayer circle biblical in any way? I mean, I read the Bible. I don't remember.
Not from what I can recall. I'm sitting here trying to think of it. I mean, prayer is biblical, but it also says that do not be like the hypocrite who prays in the street. That a person should pray in seclusion and shouldn't tell others about it.
Yeah, these people should read their own Bible. They're praying in public. Get the fuck inside. Also, I mean, prayer circles, there's nothing biblical about having a prayer circle. This seems pagan or something, or kind of like witchcraft.
It does have some pagan tendencies.
Yeah. Let me see if there's anything in the YouTube live chat. Nobody tagged Atheist Republic for this news. Let me see if there's anything. Sean saying thank you for what you do. Former... now, this has nothing to do with the news, so I'm not going to read that. Okay, Brian said something about the last news, but sorry for missing that on the last news. Here, Brian said something new. Brian, your comments are a bit long, but they're good, so I'll read them. Whether it's a comedy or tragedy, it's impossible to read Shakespeare and not find some adult content in almost all of their most famous scenes. Plus Shakespeare himself is notorious for making dirty jokes in his plays. Yeah, I think these people are just upset about the gay kissing part because I mean the Christians from all the stuff that the Bible is against, the Christians in North America have decided that this is the favorite one to pick on. Like, I mean, the divorce is anti-biblical as well, right? There's so many anti-biblical things, but the Christians in North America apparently decided that this is the ones that they want to be the most sensitive about. But okay, want to say something, Jim?
No, that was it.
All right, let's go to the next news. Jim, did we lose you again?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
Next news: pro-lifer who bombed clinics and shot abortion doctor is released from jail. In the 1990s, Rochelle Shelley Shannon shot and injured abortion provider Dr. George Tiller, who was later assassinated. Rochelle also committed multiple acts of firebombing and acid attacks against abortion clinics. She was sentenced to more than 2 decades in prison, but now she is free. She was released from a halfway house in Portland, the U.S. Bureau of Prisons confirmed. Stephen Pfeiffer, a former assistant U.S. attorney who prosecuted her in 1995, said that she has the same mentality and goals that she had when she was convicted.
Wait, where was she released?
She was released just last week.
Why?
She was parole released early.
Okay, so she didn't actually. She tried to kill somebody, but she didn't kill anybody, right?
Right. She shot and injured Dr. George Tiller, but she did also invoke a lot of hate speech. She was a very big proponent of abortion.
And that doctor was later killed by someone else?
That's correct. He was later assassinated.
Why was this specific doctor targeted by so many different people? Like, what was like? Are there not a whole bunch of people that do abortion? Why is this?
I mean, there are a whole lot of people that abort, but so Shelley specifically was targeting providers that were in Oregon, California, Nevada, and Kansas. George Tiller, Dr. George Tiller, he was the physician in Kansas. He was the one who was shot and later assassinated. But so he was one of the only. He owned one of the only 3 clinics. I'm sorry, he was the director of one of the only 3 clinics nationwide that would provide late-term abortions.
Yeah, a lot of people. You go. Sorry.
And so, I mean, that's why, because I mean, the only thing worse to a Christian than abortion is a late-term abortion.
Right. Basically, people worrying about fetuses that don't have any conscious, are not even self-aware.
Right. So she shot him in 1993, and in 2009, somebody shot him in the head by another anti-abortionist, an anti-abortion extremist named Scott Roeder.
Right. Yeah. So Claire is saying pro-life, but they are allowed to pick whose life they are pro about. Oh, okay. So yeah, the criticism is how could you be pro-life if you're actually shooting people? I think the way they're thinking about it is that they're shooting one person, but they're saving thousands by doing it. So net positive, right?
Right.
Where is this anti-abortion thing? Is there anything directly in the Bible that gets this? This is actually another thing that Christians are very obsessed about, right? Abortion. I mean, most of them are not as batshit crazy as this. I mean, again, I don't know if she's crazy, right? But as extreme as this lady. But abortion is another topic that Christians are very, very sensitive about. Is there anything in the Bible directly, or is it just their argument that every living human has a soul? And therefore,
yeah, well, there's a couple of different verses. The one that comes to mind is Jeremiah 1:5, I believe. It talks about Jesus, or about God. I knew you before I formed you in the womb. I appoint you as a prophet to the nations. And there's other verses that say that you were knitted together in a womb. I knew you before you were born, and so the Christians kind of play off of that and say that this person is already claimed by God, so this has a soul.
Not if he was aborted, because if he was aborted, then God already knew that this is not going to turn into a person. So the God did not like. Okay, so the argument. So when you say that, oh, every egg could be a person, well, technically every cell in your body could be turned into a person, and are you going to defend all of them? Or like, well, no, like, no, this is going to be a full human. And if the argument is like God knows this person before they become a full human, like actually self-aware human, then that's why we shouldn't, kill it. So but the thing is that if you actually abort it, God also knew, your God should have also knew that this is not going to turn into a self-aware entity. So God didn't know, so it's okay. So there was no person that it was going to come out of this, given that God already knew that. So I don't understand how that logic works.
Well, I mean, either God is omniscient, all-knowing, or He gives us free will. You can't have both. They are contradictory.
Yeah, but
so
that's another
if God knew that you were going to, that the fetus was going to be aborted, then that's on God. But if you believe in the concept of free will, then God gives you the ability to choose to have an abortion as opposed to carrying out what He wants.
Right. And another thing is, I mean, this whole so a lot of the arguments about why being anti-abortion makes no sense goes along the line that it's the mother's choice, right? It's their body, their decision. Oh, if you're not a woman, don't talk about it. Well, the argument from the people that want to counter that, like, no, it's not just your body; it's also the baby's body, right? So you don't get to make decisions for another. You get to make decisions for your own body, but you don't get to make decisions for another person's body.
That's
right.
Right.
And then the counter to that is, well, if the example is that if somebody needs to be connected to your body for you to live, you can be responsible for their life, right? For example, let's say somebody is in a hospital and they need to connect their body to your body for them to stay alive,
Right.
and you have to stay there for them to stay alive. It's if you decide that, no, I'm gonna go, that's and they say it's not on you. You don't have the responsibility to stay there and make sure this person is alive. That's not murder if you don't, because if that's murder, then you not saving any person that you could save from hunger, then that would also be murder. You know what I mean? But
Right.
but I think the whole argument, all of this is unnecessary, because we're talking about we're talking about something that is not even conscious. Who gives a shit, right? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
It's not about, oh, it's the mother's choice. Oh no, it's not the mother's choice. It's the baby's choice. It's not a fucking baby. It's a fetus. It's a fetus. It's not self-aware. It's like your salad. Okay, it's
Right.
not. It doesn't have. It's not a conscious. It's not a self-aware being. Have at it, right?
Well, look. This is the other problem, though. Even if you're against abortions, then that's fine. But if you are against abortions and you claim to be a Christian, then you're also looking out for the health of everybody else. Okay, so abortion, it isn't inhumane. It's a necessary part of reality. If you don't provide a way for women to have safe, legal abortions within the appropriate gestation time, they will find other ways to do it. More dangerous, harmful ways. They will coat hangers, drugs, alcohol, back alley abortionists. It's so important for every woman to have access to a safe procedure just in case they need it.
My mom, during the closely after the early years of Iranian Islamic Revolution, she was pregnant, and she wanted to. She was the university student, and she was not in a position at all to have a baby. And this was at that time in Iran. This was a huge crime for any doctor to, abort a baby. And she went from doctor to doctor and begged them to do it, and they all said no to her. And then the last one that she said no to her, she started crying, and the doctor said, "Okay, this is like very early years after the 1979 Islamic Revolution in Iran," and the doctor said, "Okay, I can't do this for you, but I could teach you how to do it with the coat hanger, right?"
Wow.
My mom went to her university dormitory, and she did it with the coat hanger, and she saw the fetus come out, and she said that when she flushed the toilet, she saw like the fetus go like round and round in the toilet, and then she was bleeding so much that she collapsed, and the whole like the whole mattress says was soaked in blood. Like the person that came in cleaning first, they were so upset because they had to clean all of that, but then because they were yelling at her, but then they saw that she can't even like she's losing consciousness. She's lost so much blood. Then they feel bad for her and they try to help her, but she almost died from all that bleeding. But yeah, so this is my mom's story, anyways.
Wow, that's awful. I mean, and see if she had access to a safe procedure where she could comfortably walk in and know her options, then she could be treated. She wouldn't have to lose so much blood, and she couldn't. I mean, she could have died.
Yeah.
And then we wouldn't have. I mean, was this before or after you? I mean, she wouldn't have had Armin Navabi.
Yeah,
I mean,
this is before me.
yeah. I mean, that's wow.
Yeah. All right. So, why do people call me on Facebook? Can somebody? How do I disable people calling me on Facebook? I don't understand.
I'm not sure.
Oh my god! I'm doing a live stream here. This is the only thing you can't disable on Facebook Messenger. I'm gonna uninstall Facebook Messenger if this happens again. Okay, so next news.
Trump administration finalizes rules limiting women's access to birth control. This week, the Trump administration issued final regulations that give conscience protections for employers that have religious or moral objections to providing employees birth control. Under the new rule, businesses, nonprofits, and religious groups have much more flexibility to withhold any form of contraception from their workers, a decision that would primarily affect women.
Why are they so obsessed with this? I don't understand. Okay, why are they doing this?
It's ridiculous. This is just crazy. Oh, I think I skipped one, but I'll do that one next.
Wait. Oh yeah. Actually, I have the wrong news up. Okay, actually, read it again. Read it again because you did the wrong news. Trump admin finalizes. Read it again because I had the wrong news up when you were reading it.
That's my fault.
Read the title and data summary. Come on, Jim, get it together.
Trump administration finalizes rules limiting women's access to birth control.
Okay.
This week, the Trump administration issued final regulations that give conscience protections for employers that have religious or moral objections to providing employees birth control. Under the new rule, businesses, nonprofits, and religious groups have much more flexibility to withhold any form of contraception from their workers, a decision that would primarily affect women.
Okay, and why do you think they're obsessed with? Why are they doing this? Does it say anything about why they're doing this?
This is really just wild. You know, Trump is doing this to appeal to his base, most certainly. A lot of it stemmed from the business owners coming up and saying like, hey, I don't want to pay for something that I don't agree with, which seems kind of hypocritical to me.
Right. This is basically giving in to the Christian base, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's something that's been going on.
And this is just shows the Christians are like made a huge bet on Trump, and they keep winning. They're getting the return on their investments, right? Even though Trump himself doesn't do anything, is not very Christian-like, right? And
a lot of this has to do with Obama as well. The Affordable Care Act. It provided contraceptions at no cost to employees.
Okay, so Christopher in the Facebook comments is saying that's a misleading title. All they did is say that employers don't have to pay for it if they don't want to. Hannah is responding to that by saying, Christopher, it will because the title is saying that Trump's the rule is limiting women's access to birth control. So Christopher is saying that's not limiting, that's a misleading title. And Hannah's response to that is, Christopher, it would still be considered limiting since many women rely on that system to receive it. Do you
Right.
feel
I mean, we're not talking about individuals being able to take the choice here. We're talking about employers. So the employers are deciding for all of their employees whether or not they will be able to get free contraceptives. So it doesn't matter if the employees are religious or not. All the employer has to say is, this goes against my religious or moral beliefs, so I don't want to provide it, and they can, and that's not right.
Yeah, I mean, what we're asking for is consistency, right? Like, if so, a lot of people are saying, why is the company being forced to provide these anyways, right? The thing is, as long as there's a rule that the company has to provide like any medical care like this, I think nothing should be removed because of religious reasons, right? If something is being removed on the ground of like, oh, less government oversight, that may be something that we could talk about, like less government control, less government. I mean, that's a disagreement people will have on a different ground. But if the government is actually getting companies to take care of their employees, if some things need to, the companies are being forced to provide, then nothing should be removed because of any religious influence. Does that make sense? Jim. Fucking hell, Jim. Where are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Where are you leaving me?
I wasn't. I was trying to talk.
Okay. Do you mute your mic?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Maybe there's a delay. Okay.
Well, I was just going to say that during the Obama administration, there was a case with Hobby Lobby where they didn't want to provide their employees with contraceptives, even though it was mandated by the Affordable Care Act. So what they did is the women still got coverage that they needed for birth control, but the company's insurer paid for it and not the company itself. So I don't see why we can't do some sort of a compromise like that.
Stacy is saying, but Viagra is automatically included. Is that true?
Yep, it sure is.
Wait, so and Viagra is included, is automatically included, but they're removing this? Why? This is some what the hell? What devil?
Because the country is ran by old white men who are the biggest buyers of Viagra.
Okay. No, I mean this is not a white issue. This is a Christian issue. This is like yeah.
But look, but what I'm saying is I also think that it's a man-woman issue, not necessarily just Christian, but man-woman.
Religion is used as a way to,
Well, sure.
Religion is
anti-woman. I agree.
Yeah. Tyler in the Facebook comment section is saying, if the government can withhold female right to contraception, why can't I go around coming absolutely everywhere? What the fuck, Tyler? You're crazy. I don't understand what Tyler is saying. He also said, I like you guys, but come on. There are plenty of podcasts that do what you're doing, but better. Okay, well, go ahead and watch those podcasts, Tyler. Why are you here then? Go there.
Because those other podcasts aren't on.
All right. Should we go to the next? Oh, wait. B just saying something. Should these bosses then pay child support? I don't know. What child support? I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I think B just pointing out how much do you want to force the companies to be involved in people's lives, right?
Right.
I think child support is beyond medical care. Christina is saying, if the U.S. does go to single payer insurance system with this new rule in place, the government could effectively steal away a lot of women's access to birth control. Good point, Christina. Bobby is saying, right. No, it's because the country's run by white men. It's because Christians want people to have the babies. I agree. I think it's mostly because of that. This is more of every pregnancy is valuable. Every baby could be a Christian soldier thing. Then
let me ask you this though.
Let me finish the sentence.
Okay.
The conservative women are on board with this too, not a patriarchal thing. Jesus. But the thing is that, Bobby, religion does a good job at getting its victims to support something against their interests. So religion is patriarchal. So you're saying it's a Christian thing, not a patriarchal thing, but Christianity is patriarchal. But go on, Jim.
Okay, so imagine Christianity, the same that it is, humanity, the same that it is, society, the same as it is, but men are the ones who have the babies. We are the ones who get pregnant, stay pregnant for 9 months, and have the babies. Would abortions be more or less available?
Well, yeah. I mean, it would be more available, of course, but but that's a huge, yeah. But the thing is that religion was, made obviously by men, and it was mostly for the interest of men. So whatever rules would come out of religion would be more man friendly. If it more, getting rid of pregnancy friendly, because men was getting pregnant. Obviously, I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Bobby is saying, and in the sense of each life has value, I think we should agree with them. I don't think it's against women's best interest to have babies. Many quite enjoy it and relish that role. Yeah, and many don't. And I don't think each life should be valued. Only conscious life should be valued. If every life should be valued, then you shouldn't eat your salad.
Yep. And a lot of those babies, a lot of those women who aren't interested in having babies are very interested in having sex. And they should be able to have access to contraceptives in order to have safe sex. This isn't just about preventing pregnancies. This is also about preventing sexually transmitted diseases.
Christina is saying the thought of pregnancy makes me physically ill. There you go, Bobby. Not all women want it. Women who want pregnancy should be able to get pregnancy, and people that don't want pregnancy should be able to avoid it. Bobby saying, I don't think it would be any different, honestly. You're presuming sexism while ignoring a valid argument for prioritizing human life, which we should be on board with, really. I prioritize conscious life. I don't prioritize... okay, so if...
If the argument was for prioritizing human life, then it wouldn't just be about abortion. It would also be about expanding funding for education and healthcare. But these people don't care about what happens after the baby's born. They care about getting it to that point.
Yeah, I mean, this is okay. So, prioritizing human life. No, I mean, for example, if a human is at the vegetative state, right? I'm not gonna say let's save them because it's a human. It doesn't matter. It's not conscious anymore, right? You let it go. Let it pull the plug. The guy doesn't. This is not. It's human. It's still human, right? But it's not conscious. It cannot understand anything. It's just like a potato. Okay. You can pull the plug on that, and nothing would be lost. There's no there's no value in keeping this a human that is at a vegetable state alive. It's the conscious part that makes the whole experience valuable, not the fact that it's human. Okay.
Which is why the term limit for abortions is set where it is at 21 weeks. Is because that is around the time that the neurons start to fire and that conscience starts to develop.
Right. Okay, let's go to the next news. Again, Jim, next news, okay? Not the one after it. Jim.
So you want to go to the one before, right? the one that I skipped?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Trump signs proclamation limiting asylum seekers. Friday morning, President Donald Trump signed a presidential proclamation that will bar migrants who cross into the U.S. illegally through the southern border from seeking asylum. This would ban migrants from applying for asylum outside of official ports of entry. The American Civil Liberties Union, or ACLU, has already called the rule illegal, and legal challenges are expected to follow. The impact will be that most migrants who cross the border illegally will no longer be eligible for asylum claims in the United States for at least 90 days.
Why are people saying this is illegal?
Well, Trump is saying that it is illegal because they're not
No.
doing it
Why?
at
Okay. No.
official
Yeah,
points of
I
entry.
understand that point. They're crossing the border illegally, and Trump is saying if you cross the border illegally, then your case is not going to be heard, right? For asylum, is that right? But what the people that are saying what Trump is doing is illegal, what case do they have?
Well, because people who are seeking asylum, that they can't just go to these ports of entry. They can't always do it the legal way. They can't get in the car, hop on the highway, and go through a border patrol checkpoint with all eyes on them. Some of them have to go in the secret of night through a tunnel or climb over a fence through a very secluded area and travel by foot for hundreds of miles to avoid getting caught
Right.
by
Okay.
by cartel
But
members.
that doesn't. But that still doesn't answer the
So
question. Why would that? Why would what Trump is doing illegal? Just because they having a hard time, that doesn't mean what Trump is doing is illegal. Like you're saying to people that are against this decision by Trump, right? They're
right.
saying that what Trump is doing is illegal, right? Is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but why is it illegal?
Well, it's illegal because it's not just at ports of entry. I mean, that unlawfully means between the ports of entry on the southern border. I mean, that it's only unlawful if you come in and you stay in and you're not seeking asylum. For one, he claims that our asylum system is overwhelmed, and yeah, that's true. But
No,
it's because we're not.
but Jim, you're arguing for why what Trump is doing is unfair. You're not arguing for why what he's doing is illegal. I don't. I still. I mean, I don't understand why what he's doing is illegal. Let me see if I can understand.
What do you mean? You mean like him barring them?
No, like if Trump is saying that only asylum seekers that are coming legally crossing the borders will have their case reviewed, why is that illegal to do? Let me see. Let me read the summary if I see if I understood it right. Friday morning, President Donald Trump signed the president proclamation that will bar migrants who cross the U.S. illegally through the southern border from seeking asylum. This would ban migrants from applying for asylum outside of official purpose. The American Civil Liberties Union has
Right.
already called the rule illegal. Like the rule.
From outside.
Okay. Oh wait. So the American Civil Liberties Union has called what the rule by Trump illegal. So they're saying what Trump is doing is
Yes.
illegal, and legal
Yes.
challenger. Well, but why? Why would that? I don't understand. And legal.
Because people are allowed to apply for asylum whether they're at a port of entry or not. So Trump is saying that unless they're at a port of entry, that they can't claim asylum, and that's not true. I mean, the law already exists that
Oh,
regardless of whether you're an immigrant or not, illegal or not, you can apply for asylum and not just at a port of entry.
okay. So what? Okay. So you're saying the law already says that they can. That's why it's illegal. Okay. So that's that. Now I'm getting it.
Right,
Is this
right,
like
yeah,
part
yeah.
of the what?
And it's not just federal law, but it's international law that says that we have to give immigrants an opportunity to claim asylum. I mean, whether they entered legally or not, so that they can already be here in the United States and and file for asylum.
Okay. So basically putting out the fairness aside for a moment. You're saying that this breaks both United States federal law and international laws. That
That's right.
okay. Are you sure about that? Like both of
I'm
those?
100% sure.
Okay. So now when it comes to fairness aspect of it, I mean, when it comes to asylum, I guess how would you? You're saying it's not fair to do this what Trump is doing because how would you even get like what was your arguments for why this is not fair?
Because people who are running for their lives, they don't always have the privilege or the ability to enter the United States in a conventional manner. They don't have the ability to hop into a car with their passport, with their legal name on it, and
Okay,
come
but then
into the country.
but then a U.S. citizen might tell you, well, what the well, that's not my problem. That's their problem. Why should the U.S. taxpayer pay for other people's problem? The tax money should go towards take. Again, I'm just being devil's
Well,
advocate. The tax
uh,
money should be
well,
going taking after citizens. By the way, people in the live chat, chime in if you want to see who's right or who's wrong on this. Go on.
it's not just the travel ban, but he's even tried to punish legal immigrants by telling them that if they use public government benefits like food stamps or something, that they're going to take away their green cards,
Right.
or
Yeah, I heard about
their.
it.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
So, I mean, whatever side I'm gonna just go to the comments now, but whatever side of this argument you are, I just hope that you realize that from the position of the asylum seekers, like if you, like, whether you know whether it makes sense to have more immigrants, more or not, that's a different topic. But you have to sympathize with the person that is running away from something, from very dangerous situations, right? Like if you're living in an environment where your child or your loved ones are in constant danger, it makes sense for you to just not care about what international laws are, whether like you just need to get across that line. I mean, at some point, people are going to be in a position where they just need to get, go for whatever they can. Like you might judge people for like, oh, you illegally crossed the border, so you don't, so fuck you. But I mean, whether because people illegally cross the borders, that means that policy should be that whatever the policies might be. Because I understand that the laws and rules have to be based on taking more than just some people's lives into account. There's a lot of different things that come into play, but at least, and we could disagree on that, what the best policies are, but I hope the judgment is mostly on the policies and what the policies are, and not on the individuals that are making these decisions. Because from their perspective, none of these policy talk makes sense, right? The people that they love are in danger. They are in danger, and
Right.
they are doing whatever they can to survive.
Right.
I'm not saying the policy is that means that we should have open borders or that we should take care of everybody. I'm just saying
Exactly.
don't hate these people that are making decisions like this.
And that's the problem, though, is that all of this fear mongering and hate speech. Like, if you see anybody calling this illegal entry or referring to this as illegal entry, or people seeking asylum outside of a port of entry as illegal entry, they are wrong. They are 100% wrong. It is not illegal at all, and it hasn't been illegal since sometime in the early 80s. I think in 1980 or 1981. Where it is a right of a person in the United States, regardless of their
makes no
immigration
sense.
status, to seek asylum.
Yeah, but the people are saying they broke the law when they crossed the border.
Yes, people are saying that because our president is saying that.
No, I mean, if it's not illegal, like you're saying, every way of crossing the border is legal. That would mean like
No, no, no,
having
no, no,
open
no, no,
borders.
no, 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 no. That's not what I'm saying. Seeking asylum outside of a port of entry is not illegal entry. Yes, I mean you can still enter illegally, and up until the point that you file for, or that you seek asylum, you have entered illegally.
Okay, so
But it is not illegal to seek asylum from outside of a port of entry.
Okay, so John is saying they aren't seeking asylum. If they would have accepted it. If they would have accepted it when Mexico offered it. So John is arguing they're just looking for a better life, not for asylum, because Mexico offered them asylum when they were.
Or because Mexico can't provide them the safety that they need. Mexico and Central America, where they're coming from, the same a lot of these people who are seeking asylum are seeking asylum from dangerous people who they aren't exclusive to Central America.
Catherine is saying thank you, Mr. President. I think they're saying thank you to Trump. Ron is saying When did Atheist Republic become political? I'm on enough political groups. Don't need it here too. Ron, I don't know when you joined Atheist Republic, but I don't understand how you have missed it. We talk about everything that the community wants us to talk about, and this is some of the stuff, right? Atheist Republic is not just about atheism; it's a community for atheists, and we cover anything that our community wants us to cover. It's most of the time that means that it's going to be about atheism and religion. Sometimes it's going to be, a few times it's going to be about something else. And it's amazing because we've been doing this for 13 years, and for 13 years, people have been saying, when did Atheist Republic become political? Whenever you post something political. And I was like, yeah, it was like this from the beginning. We post about atheism, religion, secularism, and sometimes other things. Should we go?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Trump had no problem talking to Senator Rand Paul about the Pakistani Christian woman Asia Bibi, about securing asylum for her, and she's in Pakistan. I mean, that's not an official port of entry.
Okay, let's go to the next news.
All right, the next news. They see no shame. Honor killing video shows plight of Syrian women. A video showing the brutal killing of a young Syrian girl by her own brother has been released online. She was killed to bring back the honor of her family. The video shows a young man, Bashar size, holding a Kalashnikov rifle in hand, pointing it at a young girl wearing a scarf and crouching on the floor. He said, "Make sure we can see both your faces." A voice ordered him, and his friend told him off camera, say, "Go ahead, Bashar, cleanse your honor." And Bashar then proceeded to shoot multiple bullets into his sister and watched her die. This was live streamed on Facebook reportedly, and the girl had been killed after indiscreet pictures of her were posted on Facebook. Bashar is a member of the Free Syrian Army with its own police and courts, and might never be held accountable for this.
Unbelievable. He killed his own sister on live stream.
His very own sister too. Another honor killing.
Unbelievable. And they must feel so proud of themselves.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. I watched the video.
You watched it?
Jesus. Yeah, I did. It was very hard to watch. Very hard to watch. It was it took a long time for her to die. And he watched her, and it was awful. And all because of rumors that she had committed adultery, that she had sent these photos that weren't appropriate, and it's all because of somebody who wanted to marry her or date her, and was turned down, posted the images of her online.
Wait, so what did she do?
So one of her ex-boyfriends, or somebody who had dated her, who had these photos of her, was upset and posted these photos of her online and spread rumors that she had committed adultery. And somebody went to her house and drug her out.
So wait, so she wasn't even like, she didn't have a relationship, but like, did she do anything that was like on his, like, what was, like, so did it, the only crime was that they saw that they had a relationship? Like, did they mean like they had sex, like, or that it was just the fucking pictures? Is that all?
It was just pictures, and rumors. That was it.
These people are like looking for an opportunity to fucking, like, they're just, it's not like, right, oh, it's my sister, I have to make sure this is this really what I have to do? They're like they're standing in line, like, yay, now I get to do something.
Right. Well, I mean, this
like,
is
what the hell is wrong with this is your mind and religion, people.
Right. Well, she was living in a camp that was, ran by the Turkish army, the Free Syrian Army. which is Turkish backed. It's not Turkish, I'm sorry, but it's Turkish supported. Um,
I'm trying to find a video and decide if I should play it or not.
it's I wouldn't play it on
No?
live.
Okay.
No, it's very graphic.
Should we put a link later? I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I think a link is important just to see. I mean, the it's it's awful. I mean, this girl is completely innocent, and there's just no
So wait,
there's no,
so
no there's no excuse for this.
Yeah, no shit. Beach is asking what kind, like, what was the photos, like, what how were the photos improper, like what was she doing? She was showing what, like,
The only photos that I could find had been blurred out and pixelated, but it doesn't look. I mean, they may have been suggestive, but it wasn't pornography.
Beach is saying what happened to there have to be witnesses. I guess, like, if you have the photos, then the
Well,
photos will be
there
many
were witnesses. She was living in a Free Syrian Army camp.
Mm.
They pulled her out of the camp, and that's where her brother, who is a soldier that was trained and employed by the Free Syrian Army, and shot her right there at the direction of other Free Syrian Army soldiers.
Jesus. I mean, again, people, like, this is Islam. I mean, we go. This is not something that. I mean, again, we shit on every religion here, right? But do you see this happening, like, every week that we cover this news? Like, are we missing the Christians and the Jews and the Hindus doing this many honor killings? And I understand Hindus are doing some honor killings themselves, but to this level, like, are we seeing this coming from anywhere else other than from Islam? Like, and from so many different places. Like, this is not Pakistan, right? This is Syria, right? So,
Right.
like, what do all these places have in common? These are different places with different histories, with different back cultures. The only thing they have in common is Islam. This is Islam, okay? This is what Islam does. This is the product of Islam, okay?
Right. Yeah. But by Sharia law, if you can find witnesses to say that yes, she committed adultery, or yes, she did this, then he has every right to kill her according to Sharia law. Am I correct in that?
I mean, this, okay. So there, what the purity, obsession with purity. I don't know if there is anything directly commanding this other than, well, actually there is. There's a lot of hadiths telling you that you should be stoning adulterers, and in Islam. But the Quran itself mostly has lashing, but the hadith has support for stoning adulterers, right? But the thing is that a lot of other hadiths in Islamic hadiths has this obsession with purity culture, and the fact that a woman is so impure, and it's a shame to the whole clan, not the family, the entire clan, and everybody else associated with it. That this obsession is definitely responsible for this kind of attitudes that you have towards women. Like, I get a lot of. Let me tell you how bad it is. You have to, so within the and again, this is not all Muslims, but this is enough Muslims to show that it's coming from Islam. Okay.
Okay.
The understanding is that the feeling that you have is that women are supposed to be a part. They're kind of treated like a product, a very valuable product that is supposed to meant to be pure. And the pure way is that they're the property of the father until they get married, and now the property of the husband. And anything outside of this is so extremely impure and dirty that it brings shame to the entire family and anybody that allowed it, right? But and this obsession with this purity mindset is so extreme, and you can even see it in the way people try to insult you. Like, first of all, I get death threats more from Muslims than anybody else, right? But a lot of the threats and accusations and insults that you get are not even death threats. They are rape threats, not towards you, but towards your mother, towards your sister, towards your daughter, towards your wife. And it shows you how bad, as bad as we get it, um, you have the female activists, especially ex-Muslim female activists. I don't. Their inbox must look very nasty, right?
Yeah.
Because this whole they think like because the way they think that them talking about raping, they think like the worst thing you could do to somebody, other worse than killing them or worse than torturing them, is to bring impurity to female members of your family. And the only way you could cleanse this impurity is to kill that female member of your family. This is how toxic religion is. Because, natural forces are usually more powerful than social forces, right? Like, so, the things that you have, and the fact that if social force like Islam is so powerful that could make you do these things to your own daughter or to your own sister, it shows you how fucking powerful of a virus Islam is, right? That you actually watch your sister die slowly and you think there's something good happening here, that you're cleansing the family honor. Like, that's some powerful fucking messed up shit. This is one of the most toxic ideas that we're living in with today. And I think we all need to work on, defeating it and eradicating Islam from this planet. Bobby is saying, you're blaming your religion for violence. You're racist. Sarcasm, total sarcasm, my dude. Okay, thanks, Bob. Let me see what the top comments are. Mark is saying, indeed, it is really scary what people will do in the name of their God. Dale is saying, if they are not going to post the video, don't write about it. Terrible journalism is terrible. Okay. So some people, some people in the live chat, if it can't spell mention, don't post the video, post that shit. I think that, yeah, terrible journal. Okay, again, we didn't write the article. Somebody else that, I don't know if you think that the Guardian should have linked to the, I don't know if we can link to this in our description. If you do you think if we in the YouTube version of this, if we link to it in the description, maybe YouTube will take our video down, because this is some pretty graphic shit. I don't know if we're allowed to link
it really is.
I don't know if we're allowed to link to it. Go on.
I wanted to add on to what you were saying, and I just wanted to remind that while Islam is the only one really practicing in this, this stems from Judaism, from the Torah, which Islam also stems from Leviticus. I mean, all throughout Leviticus, it talks about how women are unclean for 7 days because they give birth to a girl, but 3 days if they give birth to a boy. If they're menstruating, they can't come near the temple. And you can't touch her. And it all has a double standard. It's usually women are twice as impure as a man, whether they are a child or not.
It might be coming from Judaism, but Islam has done a very much better job at spreading that toxic ideas and actually making people
and actually keeping it,
and has done a much better job at making people actually implementing it on a much larger scale. It's a more dangerous meme, right? Whatever the sources are not as dangerous. All of those are viruses, but this is a very dangerous mutation of that virus. Bobby is saying, I think Islam just exploits a natural instinct. Men have to protect their wives in the best sense. And in an evolutionary sense, it's because we don't want to raise another guy's baby. I don't think that's part of that natural instinct, because it goes against the natural instinct of protecting your wife, because you're actually killing your wife.
What are you protecting your wife from?
No, you're protecting yourself from the shame that your wife or your sister has.
Yeah, exactly. But Bobby is saying, that it's an instinct that men have to protect their wives. But in Islam, the men aren't protecting their wives at all. They're protecting themselves.
Yeah, they're protecting their own honor. I think if you want to name a natural instinct that you want to refer to, that this is something Islam is taking advantage of, I think it's ego and pride that makes honor such an important thing for some people. Again, natural we all have natural urges, but religions are memes that take advantage of some of these natural urges and makes us implement them in a way that is harmful to ourselves and everybody around us. Renzo is saying Islam is and other religions are so powerful because it appeals to humanity's strongest natural forces, the fear of death. Well, it's not just the fear of death. I think religions that have survived were the strongest memes that survived because they were the most efficient at taking advantage of our greatest fears and of our greatest desires. Not many of our greatest fears and desires, not just death. But should we go... Oh, did I read the comments? I did, yes. Should we go to the next news?
Sure. Young people are turning away from religion at dramatic rates, leading to a surge in church closings. In the United States, the fastest growing religious affiliation is no affiliation, and it is leading to a major crisis for religious leaders. The report cited a Pew Research poll, which, which founded that 36% of younger millennials identify as either atheist, agnostic, or nothing in particular. The report found that the vast information available through the internet is leading many away from churches and toward their own personal journeys of spiritual discovery.
Yay! Did they mention how much Atheist Republic was responsible? Just kidding.
Oh,
but that's
man.
great news. That's awesome. So 36%. Is this a new Pew Research?
Yes. This is a new Pew Research. I mean, we have been climbing, but this is awesome.
So what it's saying is they're leaving their religion at dramatic rates. So
yes,
it's
dramatic.
Working, people. It's working. 36%. That's fucking huge. Go on. Sorry.
Absolutely. No, and I mean, and whenever you look at it, even on even smaller rate, you have things like the Latter-day Saints, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Their growth is under 1%, which is. Which hasn't grown at all. As a matter of fact, it's falling. All these evangelical churches, I mean, these young people, they're getting exposed to different cultures, and their minds are open, and they're not so set in their ways, and they're slowly realizing that hey, my beliefs aren't the only ones out there, and mine might not necessarily be right just because I was told that they are right. And it's leading a lot of people to, like I said earlier, to come to their own conclusion about what they believe is true.
Wow, 36%. But this is just the United States, right?
Yes, the Pew Research poll was just in the United States, but that is very encouraging considering how Christian the United States is historically.
Yeah, but this means that this model, whatever is working in the United States we should be able to get it working in other places. And a lot of people mention that no, it's harder to leave Islam, so don't even try. But the thing is that actually what we've seen is that a lot of Muslims in the United States, they're young are also, I think their rate for that was 25%. They're also leaving
That's
Islam,
great.
right? So that shows you that, leaving Islam is also possible as long as we get to reach people, right?
Right.
And
well, if you look at the last 5 years, the churches, the religious community has known this all along. They've known that they've been losing people because you've seen a big rise in churches that embrace the whole "come as you are" thing. You don't have to dress up. You can be gay. You can be in a mixed race relationship. And they accept everybody because they're having to expand to so-called lower their religious standards to increase the community.
All right, and I'm gonna do a plug here because look, this research is saying it's mostly because of the internet, right?
Right.
And who's the biggest atheist? I already gave it away. Atheist page on the internet. What's the largest community of atheists online?
Atheist Republic is the largest online atheist community, and we are growing at the fastest rate out of all atheist communities.
Right. So, if this is working, guys. So if you want to support more of this, support Atheist Republic. In
We
fact,
we are an army. We are here. If you want to be a part of the army,
right.
we're happy to have you on board. Let's do this. Let's get to work.
Right. So people that think that online stuff doesn't work, this proves that it's working. We have data and research to back it up. Thank you, Pew. And also, given that this is working in the United States, if because once we reach 500 patrons, right, what we're going to do is we're going to start translating our shows into Arabic, Persian, Urdu, Spanish, and other languages, right? Actually, we're going to have activists in every of these countries, and we're going to get them to produce shows like we're doing in all these other languages as well, like Atheist Republic News Spanish, Atheist Republic News Arabic, Atheist Republic News Persian, Urdu, right? This is the goal that we have for the future. So if these things are working in the United States, it will work. I think it will work other places as well, given that we see that Muslims in the United States are also leaving Islam. So it means it could work everywhere else. So we want to reach people whatever language they have, and hopefully we get the ball rolling in all these other places as well. So help us out.
Well, and I mean, I think another thing is, millennials especially, we're reaching a time that technology has grown so much. Our knowledge about life and the universe has grown so much, and religion still has failed to answer these basic questions, and they still give the same answers that they've been giving for the past few thousand years, and it's no longer accepted as an acceptable answer. People want more. I mean, in the golden age of Google, where you can literally get an answer for any question, people don't want to hear, because God did it. They want to hear an actual answer.
Right. Can you actually read Beej's comment while I find something to show people?
Yeah, sure. 1 second. Let's see.
Before she said that she had to go for her cat.
Oh, no. Okay.
No, she's coming back. She's coming back.
Beej.
About the tipping point, the 36%.
Okay, yeah. 30. Beej says, think about it this way. Oh, no, that's Bobby B. I apologize.
No, that was from the previous news. But go on. Beej.
Beej, where? I don't see it. All I see is 36%.
Yeah, she's talking about the 36%.
Oh, okay. Beej says 36% must be a tipping point. Should see it grow even faster now. Yeah, Beej, it's actually grown. It is 4 times faster now than it was in the 1980s. It's awesome. It's really, really great.
Okay, I can't seem to find the picture. What I was going to show was the picture that I posted on my Facebook page, where it showed that compared the Atheist Republic Facebook page to the largest Christian Facebook page, and to the largest Islamic Facebook page, and it showed that even though they were bigger pages, Atheist Republic is 2 million, but they had bigger pages, right? But it showed that we had far more engagement, like a lot more engagement.
Yes.
Even though we had smaller following, we had a lot more engagement on our page, and we're growing fast. Our page is growing faster than theirs. So yeah, we're doing something right. And also, let me read something that I think Beej is back. Yay, Beej is back. I think
Beej, in the 1980s, it was 10%. Was what they were considered nuns, and now we're in the high 30s. So that's, I mean, just imagine where we're going to be in another 30 years. I mean, this is exponential growth. I mean, this is amazing.
Emil is saying, I know my undercover atheist hijabi in London. Oh, atheist hijabis well, because they're undercover. Hopefully one day she doesn't have to be undercover. She continues. So wait, let me read this from the beginning. I know many undercover atheist hijabis in London. Many young women are stuck pretending being Muslims until they find their financial independence. I actually wonder how many people are leaving Islam that we don't know about. Many of them might be undercover. But yeah, this is great news. Let me actually read some of the Facebook comments. Okay, so Elizabeth is saying, wow, this got a lot of likes. Wow, this article got 7,000 likes when we posted it on our Facebook page. That's crazy. Elizabeth is saying, sitting with my daughter as she explains all the Constellations in the Sky. She discusses how religion was necessary for early human who had no evidence or knowledge of science and math. She is incredible in her answers because they are fact-based. She's a philosophical atheist, and she is the generation that will ensure religion is an outdated tool that was used for questioning our existence. Everyone in both is born an atheist until ignorance contaminates them. And she posts a picture of her daughter. That's very sweet, Elizabeth. I just want to also warn people that don't think like this is going to happen naturally. This is something, religion unfortunately is something that happens naturally. This is something that we have to fight for. This is something that we have to, work for to get. And it's happening because a lot of people are working for it. And it's not going to come just by waiting, right? It's not a function of just time. It's a function of activism. And even though atheism might be growing in the United States, you have to remember that Islam is still a major threat. Islam is growing. It's the fastest growing religion. And we need to do whatever is working in the United States. We need to try to figure that out and try to reach out to as many people in Islamic countries right at the source,
Right.
and also get this trending in all those places as well.
Yeah.
Christine is saying every closed church should become a homeless shelter. Scott is saying, I think every closed church should be turned into a bar, club, or pub, or school. I go with the homeless shelter. Nicholas,
I say we leave it empty as a sign of of a dead race that is long gone.
no, I'll use it for something. Nicholas saying it's because we're getting smarter and evolving. Actually, no, that's not the case. We're not not how religion works.
That's helping with religion because religion is necessary because it allows us to give answers to questions that we don't yet have answers to. So I mean, religion will be affected by our knowledge, but it won't end it. One good thing is that no religion is the top religious affiliation in not just North America but also Europe. But in the United States, the people who claim with no religious affiliation, we outnumber Catholics, we outnumber all non-Christian faiths. So Judaism, Islam. We outnumber mainline Protestants, so the Baptist. The only people who outnumber us is people who consider themselves non-denominational, which I'm sure that a large percentage of those are also no religious affiliation.
Brian in the Facebook live chat is saying a 2006 University of Minnesota study found that atheism is not just tied to religiosity, but to location, exposure to diversity, education, and politics. One thing I want to point to people is that don't let this put your guard down. And when the Enlightenment age came, a lot of great thinkers thought that religion is almost over. We're done. Religion is dead, and religion didn't die. In many places, it had a major comeback. Right. I just remember that religion dying is not just a function of time. Like, this is something that you need to keep at it. If it's weak, don't let go until it goes the way of Greek mythologies. When it's weak, don't be like, oh, it's now peaceful. It's not going to hurt us anymore. It seems like not as bad as it used to be. No, don't let it fight it until it fucking dies, until it's as dead as Greek mythology or Mayan mythology or ancient Egypt mythology. Once you're there, then now you can start relaxing a little bit. But until it's there, don't stop fighting it. This is a dragon that no matter how much you're injured, it will recover and come back at you. This is not something that would just because people are evolving, it will go away. Yep. Remember, United States is one of the most advanced countries in the world. And it's still very, very religious because we have still a long way to go. Being advanced doesn't mean it's just going to go away. This is a product of activism and purposefully trying to bring information and give it to people and actively trying to show people that there are alternatives to their religion, that make people
Right.
actively encouraging people to maybe doubt, be skeptical about their views. This is a product of hard work, not just of time. But go on.
Rosa in the live chat says, yes, that's true, but we need to be more politically active. And it's interesting that you say that, because they actually attribute part of this growth to Donald Trump being president and the large evangelical following that supports him. And so they disagree with the way that he acts. They disagree. I mean, they see these people who are supposedly Christians, supporting and promoting these hateful, racist, bigoted beliefs, and they're saying, I don't agree with that. That's not what I thought Christianity was, and so I guess I'm not a Christian.
Bobby in live chat is saying, can you promote Beach beyond an admin? I don't know if there's anything above an admin, but if there is, she should.
We hereby dub the goddess of YouTube live chat.
Goddess of Atheist Republic. All right, so oh wait, did I read all the top comments? Yes, I did. Let me see. Nicholas. No, I already read that part. Brian is saying, shouldn't this read millennials are killing religion? I despise religion. I love mythology. Yeah, the difference between religion and mythology is whether you believe in it or not. And if you don't believe in religion, it's just mythology, and it's a lot of fun when you don't believe in it. It's actually, religion is fun if you don't believe in it, because then it's just mythology. All right. Anything else? Are we good?
I think we're good.
All right, thank you everybody. Brian, you had some great comments in the Facebook live chat today. Thank you for that. Tyler, I know you don't like us, but we thank you for being there in the live chat. Renzo, thank you so much, Renzo. Oh, Renzo has a comment. Religiosity, I always have a problem with this word, is also correlated with the level of economic scrutiny that people enjoy. This is probably one of the reasons why Western Europe is less religious than North America. Well, it's a vicious cycle, Renzo. Religiosity brings poverty, and poverty brings religiosity. It's not as that direct, but it has some impact. Bobby is saying, sorry, I was kidding about the admin promotion. Just seriously complimenting Beach is fucking awesome. You're always allowed to compliment her. Beach, again, thank you so much for everything you do and for your comments. Daniel. Stacy, Amal, thank you for being here. Burgazaza, I don't know if I Tom. Who else? Everybody else. Daniel, if I'm not reading your name, it's not because I don't appreciate you. Love everybody in the Facebook live chat. Anna is in the Facebook live chat. Hey, Anna. Anna is the one responsible for putting all the summaries, all the work she does. Thank you so much. Without you, it wouldn't be possible. A lot of the people that are behind the scenes in the Atheist Republic are making all of this stuff happen. There's a ton of people there. Some of them don't want to be publicly out there, but there's a lot of work that goes, and I want to just thank them, all of them. Is that you, admin? Hello. Okay. Anyways, Jim.
Daniel in the live chat says, "Hail Satan."
Hail Satan. Okay. All right. Love you guys. I'm going to stop the streaming. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for disagreeing with us. Bobby, thank you so much for disagreeing with us today. And thank you for correcting us. And see you again next week. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.